Weather's getting nice out, which is really good, depending on where you live. But here in the Carolinas, looks like summer is almost here, so that's great. So other than that, let's get some more time outside. Vitamin D, it's really important. It's really crucial. So I'm really loving it. I'm loving the weather, though I know in a few months it's going to be brutally hot, and then I'll probably want to stay indoors. So, all right. Well, today I want to talk about something. My listeners tend to be a little bit, older. So I don't know if this topic is as big for them, but it might be for a child of yours. It might be for a friend of yours. But I want to talk about this thing, this term called breadcrumbing. It's something, it's a popular term used in the dating world, which basically describes like a manipulative, interpersonal tactic. It's where someone leads another person on with, in this digital age, like sporadic messages or gestures of interest, but really no intention of ever really building a genuine relationship, right? It's a behavior that, it's incredibly confusing and hurtful to the recipient, especially when there's, real emotions involved, right? So if you find yourself, wondering whether or not, you're being breadcrumbed, or wondering whether or not maybe your friend is being breadcrumbed, or your child, and more importantly, why you might be allowing it, or why they might be allowed to happen. I want to talk a little bit today about recognizing the signs, why you might be, letting it happen. And more importantly, how do you put a stop to it? Like I said, breadcrumbing is like essentially this, it's the digital age's version of stringing someone along, right? It's where somebody might send a flirtatious message or a noncommittal message that really kind of keeps the recipient interested enough to kind of hang on, but ambiguous enough to kind of keep them guessing about like what is their true intentions. I mean, this could be in form of a random text or an email or, sporadic likes or comments on social media, right? Because we know how people love that. Or just an occasional comment that suggests like, hey, there's going to be this, we should get together in the future, but realistically, they never really commit to plans. So again, what are some of the signs you might be wanting to look for? Inconsistent communication, right? If the person you're talking to reaches out again sporadically, leaving you waiting for days or weeks before like you hear from them again, you might be experiencing breadcrumbing, especially if you have real feelings for these people, right? Again, these communications, they don't lack any substantial content. They kind of end abruptly. They kind of just leaving you there on the hook, right? Sometimes promising you future things like, hey, well, we should do this in the future, but there's really nothing that materializes. There's nothing that gets set for it. There's no progression in the relationship or even the friendship, despite the length of time you've been in contact with these people or that person, it doesn't progress. The conversation stays superficial and remains vague. And sometimes it's, it's just that last minute contact, right? They kind of reach out to you last minute, possibly when it's convenient for them or when they might need something from you, right? This can make you feel like an option, to them, like you're like the last option to them rather than you're, a priority to them as a friendship. And, and as always, you just might have that gut feeling, There's really something to trusting our guts, right? You might feel uncertain and confused about where you stand with this person. In friendships, relationships, you should never feel that way. You should know. So if you're questioning their sincerity or your own value to them, it might be time to recognize that maybe you're just being breadcrumbed here. But the real question is, why are you letting it happen? Right? Because if you're somebody who is, comfortable in themselves, and you wouldn't let it happen. You don't have time for people like that. And a lot of the stuff, why this might be happening, could be some, emotional and psychological reasons. And this might be tough for some of you, right? You might have low self-esteem. You have doubts about your self-worth. You might be more susceptible to accepting minimal attention rather than demanding the respect and care that you deserve of somebody's full attention. You might have fear of loneliness, right? You'd rather have half of someone than no one. The dread of being alone, can make this sporadic attention seem better than getting nothing at all. Or maybe you're just in denial. You might be interpreting the crumbs as a sign of a genuine interest, holding out, hoping that relationship will become something more meaningful, but it's not going to. And the only thing you really should be doing is figuring out a way to stop it. Stop this from happening to you. Understand that you have more value. You have more worth. And when I talk about breadcrumbing, I'm not just talking, a man doing it to a woman. I'm talking about a woman doing it to a man, or man to man, or woman to woman, or whatever. So again, it's really important to understand that this can happen to anybody. And the key is not to let it happen. And like everything, you got to recognize, number one, you value. Everybody has value, whether you see it or not. And if you don't think you have value, reach out to me. I'll be able to make sure that you understand that you have value. Okay. Everybody's got value. Maybe you don't see it. Maybe you're blind to it, but you got it. And understand that you deserve consistent attention. If this is going to be a relationship or a friendship, that person needs to, respect it. Affirm your self-worth daily. Just know that you are important. Know that it's okay to expect clear and honest communication from other people. Say it, state it. And if they don't like it, then they don't need to be in your life. Set those boundaries. Define what you're willing to accept in a relationship or that friendship, but what you're not. Communicate these boundaries clearly to the other person and be prepared to enforce them. And again, if they don't like it, so what? You will find the right people. Keep the communication open, right? Confront the person who might be breadcrumbing you. Express to them how their behavior is affecting you, because maybe it is. Maybe maybe you really like this person, and you're down in your dumps when you don't hear from them. But then they reach out and it really spikes you, and you get really excited, and you think okay, here it comes, and then they're gone again, and then it kind of brings you down in the dumps, left wondering. Maybe occupying your days, maybe your weeks thinking about this person. Be upfront. Ask for clarity about what is going on here. And if they can't answer it, then be prepared to just walk away. Because if the behavior is going to continue despite your efforts to address it, it may be time to just, move on. And I know it hurts and it's painful sometimes, but preserve your self-esteem and, of course, your emotional health. Disconnect from these relationships or that person that, is stagnant or unfulfilling and leaving you down in the dumps, so to speak. And more importantly, the best thing you can do for anything is always just focus on you. Invest in yourself. Don't find your self-worth in other people and other relationships. Engage in activities that, might enhance your life and your happiness and independent of any other relationships or friendships. I talk about it quite often in my podcast where I say, you got to be willing to move from lamb to lion. You got to be able to just go about things by yourself. It doesn't necessarily mean you won't get in groups with other people or be with other people, but it just means that you have to be comfortable in yourself and be willing to live your life, right? Build self-esteem. And when you have solid self-esteem that allows you to do something like that, it's going to bring healthier relationships in your life. Okay. Look, if this is happening to you or to a friend, it's hard. It can be disheartening, but recognizing and addressing it, it's just going to empower you to form healthier, more fulfilling connections with people. See, remember, real relationships are built on consistency. They're built on mutual respect. They're built on communication. So don't settle for anything less. Don't just feel like I have to have even a little bit is better than nothing. It's not. So work on you, get better with you. Go back, listen to 80 something plus episodes of my podcast that are here. Find the ones that are going to work for you, but work on you, develop you because you deserve more. Don't let people lead you along. Don't let people just throw little crumbs around every once in a while, just getting your hopes up only to, crush them shortly after by kind of tossing you aside. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being with me again. I appreciate my listeners. I appreciate your comments. You can always reach out to me. You can always go to my website, MikeMuldoonLC.com. You can reach out through there to me. And also, if you know anybody struggling right now, send them to my site. Tell them to set up a free consultation. I got it. Just in there. It doesn't cost anybody. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. A lot of layoffs, a lot of people feeling, lonely and lost. And the hardest thing for people to do is to ask for help. Well, send them to my website, tell them to go in there, book a session. I've opened up some sessions for Tuesdays and Thursdays. There's free sessions. We can just talk and, usually in there, I can probably give you some pretty sound advice, some sound coaching that might just help you move forward. All right. All right. As always, I wish you the best. Have a great weekend. And I've got nothing but love for you.